Hello there, everybody. My name is Michael Gray, and with me today is Nicholas Suprak.
Hello.
People have been really anxious to see you appear in this video walkthrough, Nicola. We've gotten at least 3 comments already.
They were all the same guy, though, right?
Yeah, it was all Nicola S. I don't know whose YouTube account that is, but it's somebody's.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. So, what's going on right now is we're going to point X, where there is some sort of emergency.
Yes, also known as the chicken kitchen, and this looks like a pretty serious emergency already. I don't know where they bought that giant chicken from in the first place.
I think maybe they designed it. I'm not sure.
And we already see one dead body.
Yeah, but that's not an important dead body. We need to talk to Lynne because, well, Lynne, whenever Sissel meets Lynne, she's dead, I've noticed. It's a habit of hers.
She dies a lot. I don't know how she made it to this point in her life without Sissel helping her.
Maybe it's just she dies a lot whenever she gets made a detective, because this is her first day on the job.
It's been a rough first day.
She might want to think about a new career.
That's okay though. I like Lynn, so I like Lynn chapters.
She's fine.
I mean, she's not as good as Missiles, don't get me wrong, but she's up there in terms of my favorites.
Yeah. But I mean, we're gonna have 2 long conversations with her in this chapter. So I mean, this is the interesting one here.
So now he is confronting her that, hey, you killed me.
Yeah. Good thing they finally stopped the upbeat cheery music.
Yeah, that would have been out of place.
So this is an interesting part, I think, because she claims amnesia.
Yes, do we believe her?
Well, our hero has amnesia, so
Well, yes, but he's still dead. I think in the previous chapters he was saying that he was, for some reason, it was taking him longer to get his memory back.
yeah.
But you would think now that she's alive again that
Well, no, currently she's dead right now.
that's true.
So I think when she comes alive again, her memory is going to come back. Apparently, it's easier to get your memory back, when you die and come back to life, than if you just die. There's Sissel talking to her, carrying his lunchbox.
He brought sandwiches for the both of them.
Well, unfortunately, she shot him before, they could eat the sandwiches.
He ruined the picnic.
Well, maybe he said it was like bologna sandwiches or something, and that's what upset her.
You know I hate bologna.
I wanted ham and cheese.
I mean, I guess as far as memory loss goes, Lynn doesn't have it too bad. I think we found out in the last chapter, Sissel has forgotten how to read.
Yeah, we did find out that, which is not good.
No. Maybe he just never knew.
That clearly is a possibility. That's too much reading. But I mean, if you go back and watch, say, the previous chapters, you'll notice it's clever a couple of times when he does reading in the previous chapters. Such as the important note which leads to this place, the chicken kitchen. He's about to read it and then somebody takes the note away.
Or I think maybe Lynn puts it in her pocket. I forget exactly what happens, but yeah.
And with the 2 blue villains, he's like, oh, wait a minute, this must be written in a foreign language because I can't read it. It's like, no, it turns out he can't read.
Poor guy.
Well, and the people are foreign too, so maybe it is in a foreign language.
I mean, it's possible, but they were all speaking English at the time.
Yeah, huh, I wonder. Foreigners tend to speak a lot of English in these sorts of crime shows, I've noticed.
Uh-huh.
Now we're learning more about Detective Jowd.
What country is this supposed to take place in? I'm guessing Japan, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know anything about the death penalty in Japan. I know specifically a lot about the death penalty in my home state of California, but that would take us way off topic.
Yeah, well, I was just curious if this was supposed to be in an actual place or some made-up country.
I don't know because, I mean, clearly there are national secrecy. It's a country where national secrecy is tied to a guy who eats a lot of curry. Not entirely sure what country that could be. Oh, and she's actually gonna reveal that piece of paper that she put in her pocket. Hey. We were just talking about this. That's fantastic. Wow, we were on topic.
Yeah, we planned it out that way. Good for us.
Yeah. I don't know, was Sissel really planning to rendezvous with somebody here, or did he just want to get chicken?
Yeah, that was actually his dinner reservation.
Yeah, it could have been.
I feel kind of bad for the chicken kitchen. Whenever you visit here, it's almost completely empty, except for the one time that the entire place is destroyed.
Well, this is the only time we visit the chicken kitchen, actually, but yeah, I mean, you can visit it, I guess. But I don't do that in the video walkthrough, because that's just optional.
Right. Yeah, no, I always go back and check the places because Sissel usually has something interesting or funny to say
Yeah.
when you go.
I've heard there's a couple of funny things with Ray, the dancing light bulb. Like halfway through the game, he stops talking completely.
Yep. He also stops. Well, yeah, he stops dancing around and talking.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
That...
Also, if you go bother I guess the chief of police multiple times, you find out that his wife keeps bothering him about really crazy stuff.
I hadn't even thought about that, because it's kind of tough to visit the chief of police, because you have to go to the prison and then to a line and then to his line, right?
No, actually, his you can visit directly, unless I'm describing the wrong character. The bald mustachioed man
Who
that
wears shoes, yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't wear shoes? Yeah, he's got his own line you can visit.
Oh, okay. I guess I just never visited in the... Wait, we're back in the past, so now we're gonna solve the mystery of Lynne's death.
Again.
Well, I think it should be pretty simple to solve, you know. A giant chicken landed on top of her.
Yes, I think this was the thing that caused it.
Why did she say, "What's this?" And then she looked at the menu.
Yeah, that should have been there for a while.
Yeah. But anyway, here are blue villains, so presumably these are the people that Sissel was going to rendezvous with before he got shot.
Mm-hmm. And if previous videos are any indication, they might be dead soon. Most blue skin people don't last too long in this game.
Mm-hmm. Well, the creepy doctor who inspected Sissel's body makes it out alive.
That's true, and the sort of the main two guys are okay. I guess it's just the assassins.
Yeah, I guess. Animation quality takes a bit of a dive there. No, I mean, I play the game, I've played this game on the iPad, and it's the exact same way, too. It's like, whoa, why did the graphics just get horrible all of a sudden?
Yeah, that is strange. And now we see Lynne is dead once again.
Mm-hmm. The other place the animation quality takes a dive was in the previous video where Sissel got shot. The static is actually, they do mirror, right? So the left-hand side of the screen is the exact same as the right-hand side of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly noticeable on the iPad, but I mean, when you're watching this, it's not as noticeable because it's a much smaller screen.
I see.
So they were lazy and couldn't animate a full screen's worth of static.
I usually like the visuals in this game. It's got sort of like a unique style to it.
Oh, and I mean, those are like the only two places where they're showing cutscenes, and then the live.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything's perfect. Alright, so I forget how I solved this puzzle. Oh wait, I remember. Ring the bell 3 times.
Yes. If you read the little menu there, it tells you to ring the bell 3 times.
And she brings water.
Yes, and that's how you get out of here. If you only ring it once, she comes over and complains that you keep on bothering her.
Yeah, because, you know, a waitress's job is not to serve her only customer in the restaurant.
I mean, I'd be grumpy too if I had to wear a chicken on my head.
Yeah. I'm surprised Lynne doesn't pick up on the fact that it's like, wait, this thing moved all by itself, huh?
Yeah, she, like, Sissel's visited her so many times, she should at least know that something's up.
Yeah.
She should be like, uh-oh, I'm probably about to die.
Alright, so I'm taking the cart upstairs to where the blue people are, and I'm gonna solve a couple puzzles there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one. There's really not that much to do.
Yeah, this puzzle is basically just move where you can. It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm. Because I can't reach anything else at this point. After the conversation, the waiter guy is going to move like a glass or something, and then I will actually be able to do stuff.
Yes, the waiter guy who looks like Giles' brother.
Mm-hmm. So did they ever come up with a name for this male blue guy? Because the girl's Beauty.
Yeah, she's Beauty. I can't remember if they actually give the poor little guy a name.
He just gets kicked around by Beauty, and he just puts with it because he likes her hair.
I mean, that has to take a while to style.
It has to take a long time to style. And unless I'm mistaken, it's they specially drew it. So I mean, when she faces the other direction, her hair changes.
Oh, interesting.
Rather than, you know, how they usually do it, where it's like, you know, the part in your hair switches every time you turn directions.
They spend all their animation budget on the hair. That's why the cutscenes aren't good.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, I mean, look at Sissel's hair. I mean, you have to be on that.
Yeah, look at the bartender's hair. There has to be some sort of crazy amount of hair in this game.
That's why they make the waitress wear the chicken hat, because otherwise, you know, hair, and they just couldn't afford it. Uh-oh. Does she know there's a ghost nearby?
Perhaps.
I'm wondering why the chicken kitchen has 2 stories anyway.
They don't have enough clientele.
Really, they've got a jukebox here. I guess the upper story is like a bar, and maybe they rent that out for parties or something.
Yeah, maybe. People who like looking at enormous chicken.
Yeah, and well, maybe that's a dance floor behind the enormous chicken, but I mean, there's only one place for people to sit on the 2nd story.
There's only one table. That's a waste of space.
Well, it's 10 o'clock. You know, everybody's finished at this point.
And the 2 blue villains have made a pretty enormous mistake and left their suitcase behind.
Which is kind of ridiculous, I would say, actually.
That is the only thing they brought.
Yeah, you think if you're gonna make a deal with some international criminal, you might. So this is kind of cruel, I would say. We basically manipulate Memry here, and her who hates her.
Yeah.
You broke that glass just like you did my heart.
Yeah, if you go through the dialogue up there, you find out that she is sort of smitten with this bartender, but he is not interested.
Nobody's interested in poor Memry. Oh,
It's the chicken hat.
yeah, well, it's not like I thought he was wearing a hat, to be honest,
Nope, that's just his guile haircut.
That's seriously his hair.
Yep.
Anyway, we brought her attention to the suitcase, and she is going to remind the people about that suitcase. I don't know, the Chicken Kitchen seems like a classy joint, I would say.
Mm-hmm. The bartender's all snazzed up.
And she's got the, whatever you call it, roller skates, even.
Yeah, it's not big enough that she really needs the roller skates, but sure.
I think, as we'll find out shortly, she's just sort of strange that way. Yeah, we'll talk about that later on in this video, because we're going to have more with her. Yay! She's only been working here for 2 days.
And looks like she's about to quit.
Yeah. Well, she gave up. She's like, you know what? I couldn't get the bartender to fall in love with me. Next year.
Yeah. Time to find another job.
Is that really the easiest way to move that suitcase? You think the person who's like twice as tall as him could actually pull it?
Yeah. Seems to be pretty heavy. He was struggling a little bit, it looked like.
Well, I think we're going to find out what's inside the suitcase eventually.
Mm-hmm. Lots of chicken. They brought their own.
Lots of chicken. No.
No? Oh, okay.
Chapter 11, the suitcase will be opened. Oh, it's a trunk, not a suitcase. So what exactly is Beauty holding? Is that like a cigarette holder or something?
Maybe. It's a pointer. She just came from lecture.
Oh, okay. You think maybe the blue guy would, give up on trying to date Beauty because she's not interested in him?
No.
This is the first day on the job, after 2 days of this, he's giving up, quitting, but... Okay, so she spies a ladybug, and this is a plot point.
Mm-hmm. And she really does not like him.
So she sets it on fire, and then shortly after, this happens.
Lynne moves awfully quick to save Memry, but then just sort of lets herself die.
Yeah. I think she was distracted by the chicken. She's like, oh, she was so hungry because her order hadn't come in.
Yeah, this is terrible service. She's like the only one there. It's taken them so long.
The cook's in the kitchen. We'll see him. He's probably too busy singing. And I'm going to be busy swinging because that's how you solve this puzzle.
Mm-hmm. You can't quite reach the chicken the other way, as Michael just showed.
Mm-hmm. Which is unlike me, because usually I don't show things in this video walkthrough. The fact that Memry likes the bartender, I just skip over that, and then the dialogue about her liking him makes no sense. Anyway, we finally reached the person who just crashes into the chicken kitchen with his van.
Yes. I think he has a name. I can't remember it, though. I'm not sure if we've learned it yet.
We might have learned it at the end of the previous video. He's the detective.
Yes.
The detective who was assigned to watch Point X, aka the chicken kitchen. So we're going to do this for the first time. We're going back in time after going back in time.
the first back in time was not enough to save her, it looks like.
Well, you think they would have gone for this person, to begin with?
Well, he couldn't quite reach him, so this entire puzzle is just trying to get to him.
Well, you think Lynn could have like taken one of the glasses and then walked over there so Sissel could have reached it.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
I've mentioned that in the previous video, though. It's like she needs to like keep Sissel in like a baseball and just keep the baseball in her pocket.
Sort of swing around with it.
Okay, so the detective was in the park, and he was the one we saw earlier being bothered by the guardian of the park.
Yes.
What was your special nickname for the guardian of the park?
I think it was the crazy, drug-riddled person of the park.
Yeah, that sounds a bit more accurate. Okay, so I mean, he gets a phone call. And, he puts in the phone call to Cabanella and the chief, which we saw in the previous video.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, his van is hollow, so, it's just completely on the side.
Well, in one of the previous videos, the police department didn't have enough money to keep all 3 lights on at one time, so they don't have enough money to afford an entire van.
Well, yeah, makes sense. And that's why, Inspector Cabanella, rides his bicycle to crime scenes. So here's the conversation that he is listening to on his headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Should sound familiar.
Perhaps the ladybug wasn't an actual insect.
Perhaps it was a different kind of bug.
Mm-hmm.
So he turns up the headphones because he can't hear just in time. Knocked unconscious. Huh. So, I mean, how did the steering wheel come loose? Because he's really holding it there.
It is it's not attached very well at all. There's I'm not sure if you showed in this video, but if you follow that scene all the way through the van, you can accidentally release the seat. Well, you can release the seat, which causes him to fall backwards and rip off the steering wheel.
Oh, so that's okay. You're right. I forgot about that.
In one of the different ways you can fail.
In this video walkthrough, we try to avoid the ways to because this video is long enough.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great idea. I don't suggest lowering the seat unless you want to get a little bit of a laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just end up killing him.
So, I mean, can people, fall unconscious after hearing loud noises through headphones?
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm assuming, like, I'm not sure. I know it can hurt, but I don't know if you can actually be knocked unconscious from it. I haven't done any research into that.
Yeah, well, he was clearly knocked unconscious. Alright, so this is kind of boring. You just sort of sit and wait for him to do something. And what we want to do is listen in on his phone conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we'll see in a moment, it's a very interesting conversation.
I think this was the first puzzle in the game that actually gave me a little bit of a hard time. Like, it's not too difficult.
But it's really hard to figure out originally, because, I mean, you know that, hey, I can make him grab the binoculars, but it doesn't really click that you need to do it at the exact same time as this phone call.
Right.
Yeah, here's his name, Detective Ringe.
You could tell they were suspicious because they had blue skin.
Yep, she's a great detective. Yeah, and they're whispering. Were they really whispering?
I mean, right in front of a bartender, so if they were, that's not a great idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna learn about Lynne, huh? How does she not know Lynne if she's secretly a detective?
I don't know. Yeah, we find out here that she's an undercover detective and not just a bumbling waitress.
Yeah.
But you think that she would have been on the lookout for this person?
You think she might have noticed one of her coworkers, although it's on the job, so, huh?
Whenever you drink more than 2 glasses of water, it's suspicious.
It's definitely suspicious. So I wonder if Memry makes a better waitress or detective.
Well, let's see. As a waitress, she doesn't deliver Lynn's food and complains when she wants more water.
And
as a detective, she gets 2 people killed.
She spilled a glass of water all over Lynne, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call.
But she successfully plants a listening device.
That is true.
Although it gets noticed pretty easily.
She doesn't do a very good job of it.
Yeah, seriously, you plant a bug in the chicken that somebody's going to eat?
What is this hard, round object? All I hear is a lot of chewing.
Well, no, apparently she's putting it in the bow, which is on the chicken.
Oh, it's a little bit of a better idea.
Is that the red thing? Is that a bow? Do they tie bows on chicken?
Is that something that normally happens?
I don't know. I don't cook chicken like that. Alright, so this is a bit of a puzzle, and we have these ventilation fans to get rid of the smoke, and that is a particularly strange lever. You know, as it's very hard to turn on, but it's very easy to turn off.
Yes. If you try to turn it on yourself, Sissel remarks that he can't because there's too much grease on it, which is a little gross.
Yeah, this is a chicken joint. How is there so much grease on... Oh well.
I think this might be one of the first puzzles you actually have to time a little bit correctly, because you have to wait until...
Yeah.
Memry actually has her back turned here.
She has her back turned, and then you want to swap the kitchens on the Mary Sue table, or whatever you call it.
the spinning Jenny.
Jenny, okay, I know it was a...
Yeah, I think a Mary Sue is a...
Yeah.
It's like a fan fiction term.
Different girl.
Yeah, still works.
That's my aunt's name, Mary Sue, so, I mean, I don't really... Unless from a fan fiction, which, you know... Yeah, see, the waiter, I mean, the cook, spends too much time singing, which is why they're so slow with the food. But I'm surprised he's got, I mean, 2 whole chickens there. One that he carried off, so, I mean, where are the other 2 chickens going?
That's an excellent question. I don't know. There's no one else in the restaurant. Who else ordered a chicken?
Lynne must have ordered double, because she's...
Yeah. Well, as we find out, she is quite hungry.
She is expecting Camilla to meet up with her, because I
that's true.
mentioned all the way back in, like, Chapter 2, and nobody's remembered that at this point. Said, hey, Camilla, take the important box and take it to the chicken kitchen at 10 o'clock. Well, anyway, Sissel seems to be, you know, kind of over the fact that Lynne shot him.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Does not hold a grudge.
Yeah, well, you know, well, let's say he does hold grudges, but he only takes them to his grave.
Perhaps he's just more interested in finding out what happened to himself than enacting any sort of revenge on poor Lynne.
Well, and there's also the point, it's like, well, what's he going to do if he doesn't save her life? There's nothing.
It's true. He could
yeah.
He could stay in here and listen to the chef sing some more.
Okay, so we have to wait for his hat to drop because he's got a bottle of wine underneath his hat.
I mean, the best place for a bottle of wine, really.
Clearly, yeah.
It frees up his other hand for singing, I guess.
So
we...
I was gonna bring up something I just remembered, which we've not brought up before. Everybody in this game dies instantly.
That is true, which I guess is a good thing. We don't have to watch any suffering scenes.
Well, I mean, you think, a guy dies in a car crash and dies 2 hours later. It's like, well, we won't be able to rewind time and undo that death.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is very fortunate.
Yeah, huh.
So we're going to take advantage of poor Memry again.
Well, apparently she doesn't have a very good memory. Are you really sure you should be calling him a detective right in the middle of nowhere? That's sort of blowing your cover.
I think the two blue people are still upstairs, right?
Yeah. Because, I mean, they would still be upstairs at the bar.
Uh-huh.
Because no bug was planted, so... Presumably they're still at the bar talking in front of the bartender, waiting for Sissel to show up.
Well, I mean, I guess to be fair, they're not the sneakiest of crooks, since they're discussing their schemes right in front of a person who's not in it with them.
Yeah. Huh, that's funny. Oh, hey, this is a minor plot point, which is really not going to become important ever again, but...
No. They just don't want you to have to talk to this guy, apparently, so...
Yeah.
But they will try to explain this.
Yeah, huh? He didn't have a core because he was unconscious when we saved his life.
I think Lynne actually figures that out.
Uh-oh. I hope she means a big bug on him, not... Because usually when a girl talks about planting a big one on somebody...
I think Memry just really wants a boyfriend, is what it seems like.
She really won't... Well, I mean, who are other choices? Inspector Campanella, he's got great dance moves.
Yes.
But he works...
Can you walk upstairs?
He works all the time, so that probably would not...
That is a minus, yeah.
Detective Jowd is married. Well, he's a widower, so, huh.
He's available.
Ow.
Also in prison, but...
Also in prison, sentenced to die very soon. Month or so, he's going to be executed. I'm surprised that Memry didn't try to put the moves on the chef in the chicken kitchen.
Well, in one of the extra scenes, if you actually go back there, he is serenading her, so he's trying to put the moves on her.
Oh, wow, and she's just so not used to that. It's usually the other way around, that she has no idea how to respond.
It gives her a stomachache and she leaves. So she's not impressed. Not her type.
Well, maybe he's just doing bad singing.
That could be it. So that's nice of the detective. He's not going to arrest her, even though he probably should, since she's wanted in a murder investigation.
Yeah, well, they're buddies.
Yeah. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
Yeah.
Really, he should arrest her for her own good, because she's just going to get killed again.
Well, it's funny, you watch the previous video, and Inspector Campanella just yells at him over and over again to arrest Lynne. So... I guess Ringe realizes he's not going to appear in any other videos for the rest of the game, so he's like, character, I'll just disappear.
So now we're going to find a little bit more about the relationship between Lynne and Jowd.
He is her inspirational hero. And earlier we learned that Lynne doesn't like people going through the park. This is why.
Mm-hmm. She was traumatized. I mean, probably for good reason.
Well, you shouldn't hold it against the park. It's not the park's fault.
I mean, also, if she goes to the park, and she's gonna have to deal with that crazy guy.
Yeah.
That's the real reason she's not going back.
Because the crazy guy knows her. He knows everybody who goes through the park. So yeah, he saved her life 10 years ago.
Seems like a pretty good guy.
And that's why she decided to become a detective.
I mean, it makes more sense than Phoenix Wright's reason for becoming an attorney.
Yeah, well, also something which happened like 10 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was falsely accused of stealing $20. I'm an attorney.
See, a detective saved my life, so I wanted to help other people. Seems like a much better inspiration.
And I think, as we'll find out, like, at the very, very end of the game, he actually gave her a junior detective badge. Which is sweet, and, you know, detectives actually do that, so it's... Is that detectives or firefighters? I forget. I know the chief of police came to talk to my class once, but I don't think he handed out any honorary police badges.
Oh, that's sad.
Well, we were in high school, so he thought we were too old for that.
You should have insisted.
Oh, dance moves.
Yes. There has not been enough of Inspector Cabanela in this video so far.
Yeah, well, clearly, look, he's upstairs at the chicken kitchen.
That is a dance floor, you're right.
I'm so right. Oh, and we're learning more about the relationship between her and Inspector Cabanela. Although we got a little bit of that, you know, earlier on when, like, he arrested Lynne and was upset when she got killed. But here we go. Cabanela and Jowd were both BFFs.
This is before Jowd took up painting, it looks like. No paint stains on him.
Yeah, this is when he was Detective Gumshoe for a living.
I think they've got the same trench coat.
They do, yeah. And apparently they just hung out at the dance floor. Jowd practices his pointing and looking through evidence and dances.
Yeah, Cabanela's got much better dance moves, I'd have to say.
Alright, so Cabanela, you know, ever since his buddy was arrested, he sort of threw himself in the work into...
He changed.
He changed. But he's still a nice guy, you know, he still helped Lynne become a detective. So he became a bit more distant, but he's still halfway nice. We're making excuses for Inspector Cabanela, right?
Sure. We're just biased by his dancing.
Yeah, he's really a jerk.
Well, I think Lynne says right there that she changed some of the answers on her exam so she would get accepted.
And yeah, he didn't report her or anything. I just don't trust anybody who wears a scarf that long. Hey, in the music box. It was important evidence. It comes directly from Detective Jowd. Interesting.
You think by now she would have gotten curious and just sort of smashed it open?
Yeah, really. Yeah, so what's in the box? Apparently it's something which is of importance to the case. If he sent it right before he got arrested and said, "Hey, don't open this until I get killed."
Uh-huh.
Oh, and the whole time that she's been having this conversation in Spirit World, she's just been chowing down on chicken.
Uh-huh. And Detective Ringe has been sitting in silence.
Just staring at her.
That's not creepy. We find that a lot of the police officers are sort of in love with Lynne in this game.
Well, they don't have many choices. They've got...
What about Memry? Memry's desperate.
Yeah.
How many executions are planned for like midnight? Is that a common thing? I don't think so, right?
Oh, you get executed at dawn, like she's
Yeah.
there. That's the tradition. Oh, 11 p.m. Well, I suppose you could call the governor, or in this game's case, the justice minister, because we don't have a governor in this country.
Nope.
Alright, so that's the dramatic end to this chapter. The execution is going to take place really, really soon. Lynne runs off to see the justice minister, while Sissel runs off to the prison.
Trying to hopefully prevent it this time instead of having to rewind time and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last time he was in the prison, all he did was just, wander around and, check out the chalkboard.
Yes, I actually think the upcoming chapter has one of my, the favorite puzzle setups of the game.
Yeah, it's really well done. And then it's followed by the horrendous puzzle.
Yes, I completely agree. The worst puzzle in the entire game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good they spent that extra chapter setting up what the prison is like for the puzzle in the next chapter.
Yes.
Okay, so that's it. Any final words, Nicola?
Keep on watching.
Yeah, keep watching, everyone.